So I want to share something that is actually so simplistic, but has been super helpful for not only my clients, but also myself. And I've been using with people this metaphor of cleaning the corners of a room. And so I want to backtrack for a second. A lot of my clients, including myself, struggle with essentially higher executive dysfunction. So that may be from just their chronic illness or chronic pain. It can also, be ADHD, a form of neurodivergence. I mean, there's a long list of things that can cause that. And it could also be that you're just not very good at organizing, right? And so a lot of things that clients struggle with is sort of overwhelm, struggling to execute the start of a project, getting too obsessed with one project, where to begin, organization, etc. And, when you're ill, it's so quick that things can start to pile up. And then, then we're in clutter. And then one of the things I've noticed is a lot of people still have their old type A personality. So it's, if I can't finish this project in one go, if I start a project, I have to finish it. I don't want to do it, right? And so then it just builds up even more. And so one of the things that's been really helpful for me is in this last year, if you followed me, I was really ill with some new stuff and things were just sort of piling up. It was a lot of clutter. And I couldn't stand the amount of clutter, but I really was limited in how much I could do. But as I started to get some functioning back and some health back, it was so overwhelming on like where to even begin, right? And I'm one who can really freeze if a pile is too big or if the project is so big itself that I don't know where to start. And so I would start with corners of the room. This is what I would call it, right? And so I would start with one pile that needed to be sorted through, maybe mail and all of the stuff that needed to be sifted and sorted and organized and thrown out. And I would work on that one pile. And I'd have to accept, right, for my people who have, illness or pain or limitations, that I was going to probably not be able to finish it in one go. And I had to accept that it was going to be temporarily more messy while I was working on it. And so I would recognize that point in me where it was definitely my body saying, like, we're good, we've done enough today. And I would stop and I'd have to leave it like, in heaps all over the table. And I'd come back and I'd work on it the next day, or I'd work on it later in the evening, right? And I would work on this one pile. And this pile would get done. And then I'd move on to the next corner, right? The next sub part of the corner, maybe. The next pile. And that would be my little project. And it was so slow, but over time I started to see these things were getting accomplished and it felt so satisfying, right? And it was like I was finally getting ahead instead of feeling like I was always behind it. And I had to do this corner by corner, right? So when I say corner, it might be sub corner. Little project by little project by little project by little project, accepting that it was going to be more chaotic while I worked on it until the finale, basically, right? And I started using this metaphor for clients about, if there's all these things that need to get done in their life, or they're, starting a new direction, or it's either their business or their personal life, or maybe it is actually literally their room, where to start. And we would talk about this metaphor, corner by corner, right? And that you'd have this routine, and you'd also have to be flexible, that, when you're dealing with health and pain, and even life, that things may go kind of wrong per se, and you may have to pause for a day and return to your project. And it really, really resonated with people, and it allowed them to start to make these small little steps that were actually obtainable without forcing you to become someone you're not, right? And to allow yourself to organize your room and your life in this manner. And you get this momentum that you're getting something done, because that's the hardest part when it's so overwhelming. There's nowhere to begin, and it's hard to feel like you've accomplished something. So, we use that metaphor now. If people are overwhelmed in life, I might say, let's choose a corner. Let's start, a sub corner of that corner. Where do you want to start? What's that going to look like, right? And how can you do that? How can you work on it every single day, little by little by little? Can you accept that it may be a little bit messier before it's clean and organized? So let me know what your experience with executive dysfunction might have been like, or is like. Let me know what your experience with trying to execute plans and organization in general. And let me know if this metaphor makes sense and you think you might be able to apply it to your own life. See you guys soon.